Hey guys, what's up? Shit, hold on, let me get the screen capture going again. I don't see it. Hey, sorry we're late today. I woke up really fucking late. Also, if I sound like total and utter complete shit, it's because I feel like complete shit because I have the fucking flu. Shit, the audio's turned off. Okay, but your guys' audio was muted. Let's see. Okay, you guys talk.
Hello.
Okay, sorry
Testing.
about that. Sorry about that. I was trying to be a little more professional getting shit set up, but I was late and the fucking woman made me like run and grab all this food and we're good. We're good. So we have a bunch of shit to talk about today. Not much about Elysian Shadows, unfortunately, because most of the team has been out for New Year's, so we should probably like publicly shame them for not being here. I feel like right now it's just me, and Jacob here. Although Kresna is actually part of the team now.
Oh shit, I'm a team member now.
Dude, you're in private chat. You have to be part of the team.
Oh
It's like
damn.
not even fucking optional anymore. God, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try not to cough in all your ears. Kresna, you want to show some shit first? You want to start us off? So,
Yeah.
okay. So real quick, let me like recap. Kresna is the guy that's okay, so like when I made Elysian VMU, I got an email from this fucking crazy ass motherfucker who's actually making a game for the VMU and like had all these crazy ass fucking ideas, and I'm like, holy shit, people are actually using this emulator. Anyway, like it was really impressive shit he was doing, and I was like, okay, like one, we have to have a VMU game for Elysian Shadows. Two, I can't make it because it would piss everyone off that I'm taking time away from Elysian Shadows. So we have stolen him, and we have bribed him, and we have basically like bullied him into making our mini game for Elysian Shadows. So he's on the team now. This is the guy who is making the VMU game. So you want to take it away from there?
Sure, sure. So I'm actually on my phone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload the ROM to you, and then you can open it up with uh Elysian VMU and show it off. All
Oh,
right? Because
okay.
that might be
Uh,
so
do you want to talk a little bit about like the well, I guess we can talk about it once the ROM's up, like the architecture of what the fuck we're doing.
sure, sure. So I'm
Okay.
gonna upload the library
Okay,
ROM
cool.
first.
Okay. While we do that, don't forget, guys. Like, as part of this whole fucking initiative, we are taking public submissions for VMU ROMs, so you can make your own. It doesn't even have to be a game, VMU animation, anything like that. And we're making this like badass in-game VMU arcade, right? Where you walk in, it's in the middle of like a town that's like completely in-game and shit, and you walk in, there's like this fucking arcade looking jukebox thing where you can scroll through, like browse all the VMU games. You can either play it right there in game in the in game emulator, or you can offload it to your phone, to your physical VMU, to whatever. It's not really a contest. We will take anyone who wants to be in Elysian Shadows. The only stipulation is it better fucking work. You know, like don't crash Elysian Shadows, the game, because your code sucks. Okay, it should never crash, yes, because my emulator should be that solid, but don't test me on that.
Dude.
That
I
would
don't
be
know that
hilarious, though. Or someone makes, like, figures out how to run unsigned code through the VMU and just hacks the fuck out of ES itself.
dude.
That would be
I've
funny.
actually had some crashes from like overriding memory boundaries.
Dude, you need to make sure to let me know about that, though, for real. Like, I'm worried you guys are seeing a lot of this shit and you're not actually, like, logging it. Like,
Dude, I don't know how to reproduce some of this stuff, but
oh, I see.
I'll get it sometime later
I
on.
see. Like even if it's like you did something totally stupid, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's the job of the emulator to be, and of course, there's no way in fuck an emulator author could just do this. There's just so much
True.
like coverage for this, but I would slowly like to be like bulletproofing it so that no matter what the fuck, not only no matter what the fuck you do, like it shouldn't crash, but I can also give like debug output. You know what I mean? Once I get the ES terminal in there for like, dude, you
Yeah.
just wrote to like fucked up memory or something like that. So it will benefit developers in the future too.
Right, right. And yeah, so like one of the crazy things that happens is if I just keep writing memory over some boundaries, it eventually wraps over some special function registers, and then the emulator just crashes, and I don't don't exactly know at what point.
That sounds reasonable. So in the
Yeah,
emulator, I guess I can pull it up. In the emulator, it's just a bunch of arrays that are sitting next to each other in RAM. So if you really did fucking override memory, let's see.
yeah, dude, like crazy stuff happens, but
Elysian
that's not.
VMU.
That's like that should never happen
Right, right, but still, I want to protect
in a
against
real
the
game.
VMU. Let's see.
But anyway, on the Discord, I uploaded the perspective ROM.
Okay,
If you want
okay,
to
cool,
download that?
cool. You want to explain what perspective is and shit?
Right, right. So one of the things with VMU games is that the like the amount of stuff that you have to learn at the start is extremely high because you're writing 8-bit assembly for like obscure microarchitecture. No one really cares about that, right?
Yeah, it's
And
not that hard, right? Yeah, it
it's
is.
not, it's actually not that hard, but there are so many things that are so painful. Like just drawing something to the screen
Because you're
is
writing
so 8-bit assembly frustrating because there's so many constraints on how things are displayed. Like the screen space is split into two banks of RAM. Okay, so the top half and the bottom half. And if you want to put something that overlaps, then you need to check to see if the line you're drawing on is crossed that boundary and reset it, and then subtract 16 and all this other junk. And that's a pain. But then it gets even worse because every two lines there's four unused bytes, and
Oh
so you
yeah,
need to
that's
check
really fucking
if you're on
annoying.
an order and even line to skip 4 bytes when you're going to the next line, which is just complete trash. Because no one wants to write that in 8-bit assembly, and no one wants to do that in 8-bit assembly because it's too slow, right? It
Right.
takes a lot of time. So what I did was I was thinking, well, that's like the hardest part of writing a VMU game. It's drawing something. Like you can write logic fairly easily. You can check values, compare values. That sort of stuff's easy. But drawing something to the screen actually takes considerable effort in a way that's non-destructive.
Right,
So
right.
what I did was I made a library with all these macros. Bear, the assembler that we use, has a really great macro language. And I wrote macros to abstract a lot of this stuff away from developers so that they can just put something on the screen.
Right. Which,
You know,
by the way, is written by one of our friends in chat and in the ES community, the assembler and disassembler. Also, just real quick,
yeah,
yeah, we'll totally be answering questions again this stream. Sorry, I didn't have the chat up very quickly. We will be answering questions. Any resources to learn Qt, dude? Seriously, just download Qt Creator, and it's actually you can see it right here, and it's bundled with. Go to help. Oh my God, what the fuck? Oh, it's asking me for updates. Go to help here, and there are billions of examples. Like it really is self-documenting, which is kind of how our toolkits can be. Sorry, continue. But yeah, I am answering questions.
yeah, no worries. So this thing that I've written is essentially a library that anybody can use in any game. Like you can use it in a commercial VMU game or whatever, and it's just for drawing. So it can draw backgrounds and it can draw sprites, and that's
Which
pretty
really
much
fixes like the biggest learning curve of. So we have some people that
yeah,
have like joined us who are working on VMU games right now, and it's really
yeah,
showing us one of these guys has never written fucking assembly before, and didn't have that much programming experience, and it's really here we go, and it's really shown us what is the hardest shit in doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, yeah.
and definitely drawing something to the screen is the hardest part of VMU development. It's not particularly user friendly in that aspect.
No, it is a huge pain. Like, it is unbelievably frustrating to have to do this. And then if you teach somebody how to do it, that person knows, but now someone else needs to know, and it's it's just not worth messing around with it. So I created this macro library, and what you can do is you can draw backgrounds and draw sprites without having to worry about the method of copying it to the XRAM across two banks and all that other junk.
And not only that, but dude, he has some shit. Tell him about like the masking shit you're doing, emulation
Okay,
playback. Halt. Look at this. Oh fuck,
okay.
I have the ghosting enabled. Where's the?
Dude, the ghosting's good. The
Yeah, I
ghosting's
know.
good.
That's why it looks a little janky, because it's actually emulating the real. There we go. Simulating the real property of the LCD screen on the VMU physically lagging a bit.
Yeah.
But
So the LCD screen on the VMU doesn't update immediately because it's slow and cheap. But we can use that to our advantage later on. I'll explain. Things is yeah, this is all done in 8-bit assembly.
Yep,
But
yep.
the way that you use this library is so deadly simple. Like, if you want to draw a sprite at a coordinate, at a screen coordinate, all you have to do is invoke a macro that has the address of the sprite and the x and y coordinates, and it'll draw it. Like, it's that easy. So it yeah, I feel like this would reduce the
Yeah, yeah.
learning.
So if you guys want to get in on this action, yeah, you've you've luckily waited long enough that he's like addressing bottlenecks in the difficulty level. Real quick, did you ever get in with the Angel Script VMU guy? No, we never did. So yeah, this is all our community from scratch. With Tetzner's working on this, he did the assembler and disassembler, and eventually it's going to become tightly integrated with Elysian VMU. So you'll have actual like source level debugging and breakpoints within the emulator. And we already have a bunch of really powerful shit. Like I don't know if I have it. Oh yeah, like you can. Oh god damn it! This is an old build where it looks like ass. Like memory browser, like in Visual Studio, you can view and modify things at runtime. Eventually, we want this to be like a full-fledged, like perfectly capable VMU debugger, VMU file system manager for gamers, and like emulator also for gamers.
Yeah, so one great thing about this community is that you don't have to know anything coming in. You just have to want to learn, and people will help you out, right? If you're uncertain
Yeah,
about
yeah,
writing
we help anything.
bit assembly, we will help you. I will help you write it. And if you've got advice or like features to
Jim
request
Jam,
from,
are you here? Tell him, dude.
dude, Jim Jam, there's this one guy who joined,
He's a
right? His
fucking
name is
trooper.
Jim Jam. He joined Discord, and he's like, "Oh, how do I put a pixel on the VMU?" And I'm like, what do you know?" And he's like, "I don't know anything about 8-bit assembly." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "But I want to put a pixel on it. How do I do that?" So explain how to put like a pixel on the screen, and he does it. So he copies the code. Every day he comes back with like an update and another big question, right? And I answer the question. And eventually he creates this line drawing demo like a week later from having zero knowledge straight to like drawing all these crazy.
Like, dude, I expected this guy. Like, yeah, I was gonna offer any advice I could, which is not as much as Kresna, but I know a lot from the hardware perspective because I emulate it. I was expecting this guy to quit in like 2 fucking hours, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But
but
it's
he
like,
just kept fucking going. It was kind of ridiculous.
dude, it's crazy. And so like the struggles that he went through to draw to the screen is what made me want to make this library so that he doesn't have to worry about that. No one has to worry about it. They can just write logic, and the logic's not too bad, and make a game. So yeah, that was the inspiration behind this. But so anyway, with
Do
this,
you have? Oh yeah, keep going.
oh yeah, with this ROM that Falco's playing, there's a few different demos, and let me open up my source here so I can go through them.
Do you also have a ROM or anything demonstrable of the actual engine you're making for Elysian Shadows, or do you want to talk about that a little bit too in a sec after you're done with
Yeah, yeah.
this?
Yeah, I can upload the latest ROM version, which only shows like a basic combat menu
Right,
system.
right. I
And
assume
right,
so. That's still pretty.
yeah,
So
I'll upload that, and we can talk about that too.
okay, yeah, that's really fucking interesting. So with ES, obviously we are going to have all the shit that anyone wants to make as far as the VMU and the arcade, but he's creating the actual official VMU game and fucking engine. It's a goddamn engine on the VMU, and he's making it's fucking
Dude,
hilarious to power this. That I truly think is going to be like the most like impressive like VMU game that has like the most depth and substance of all of them. It's just fucking I'm glad I'm
the
not making that.
the crazy thing is like Falco comes up with these crazy ideas, and I'm like, oh yeah, we can do that. Like we can inject all this data. We can make it all these dynamic things. Oh, I'll cover that in a sec. Just because there's like so many concepts that I think are groundbreaking to the way that it
Right, right. It's
works with
fucking
Elysian Shadows.
hilarious.
There's a lot to talk about there. But so this demo. We'll just talk about this quickly because if you want to get into VMU programming, just join the Discord and like download this library and read the source code because I have the source code for all of these demos available, and each demo is probably 100 to 200 lines of assembly. Like that's it. These. So I've got a demo of a bouncing sprite. The sprite bounces off the screen there, as you can see. Like it gets masked to the background, so you can see the background and you can see a sprite. That's a big deal because normally drawing sprites without a mask, you'll draw, the white zeros or whatever onto the background as well. But with
Right,
this, you can draw.
it's normally like a write-only operation, so you're not actually like blending it with what's already there. Actually, 90% of VMU games, even Chow Adventure, they overwrite whatever's behind them. Like it draws a rect, and it doesn't have the transparency around it. So it's actually the fact he's doing the transparency is pretty fucking hardcore. Believe it or not.
So yeah, that's the masking demo. But then if you press A, because you can press A to go through the demos.
Oh, for real? Oh, what the fuck?
Yep. Dude.
Well.
So the next demo is a custom drawing demo where I've drawn a static background.
Let me turn back on the pixel ghosting because I think that will look better.
Sure. Yeah, pixel ghosting looks rad, by the way.
I love it.
What assembly language is it? It's an obscure Sanyo microprocessor assembly language. It's like I feel like the application was
it's Sanyo LC86K. Let me.
Yeah.
But so that sounds like crazy and all this shit. But we have the official documentation by Sega given out to all of the game developers. So I mean, we have like. There's someone who has a much easier to read website with like all the registers and all the op codes and shit. And then this document is literally everything Sega ever wanted developers to know about it. There's a little bit of missing shit, but only for the BIOS that I had to fucking emulate and figure out was a pain in the ass. But anything you could ever care about as an application developer is here. And in the future, this is going to be built in, like searchable as in the VMU. But once I get more time, I've been working mostly on ES lately. Maybe closer to the end of ES, this will be part of the emulator too, is this documentation. But also as example source code and shit.
This document is like a 700-page Bible.
Right.
On programming the VMU, and it like covers every single edge case scenario. It's crazy, but it's worth a read if you want to like figure out something a lot more complicated with the VMU. So tedious did it get doing the macros, dude? It was tedious writing macros for this thing. But that aside, the macros are written. Now you don't have to worry about it. That's the whole point. But
you don't have to write the macros.
Damn right, they're already written. So the second demo, I've written a custom function that
shit.
Because the background is actually static, but I rotate lines around so that you can like it demonstrates how in the code you can write your own drawing function or your own function to manipulate it. And yeah, it's a really, really tiny demo. Silly question. Code that's written for the emulator is meant to work on hardware without any additional changes.
Yes. So that's part of it. Like, dude, if you make a VMU game for Elysian Shadows, right? It will work fucking on the real VMU. It will work on the fucking emulator, which runs on the fucking like iPhone, iPad, PC, Mac, Windows, Linux. Fucking, it's gonna run on the Ouya. Fucking, it will actually run on the Dreamcast itself. Real hardware, and then don't forget on the website we're this is actually WebAssembly compiling the thing, so you'll even be able to distribute your shit with a link to it, and we'll have like a developer portal. You'll be able to distribute it online. So yeah, that's one of the things is developing for this fucking obscure piece of hardware will actually get you more cross-platform support with our ecosystem than fucking like developing for Unity or something. Maybe not Unity, but you know what I mean? Like you're not. You would think, targeting this fucking thing, who's gonna be able to play it? But like, everyone can fucking play it.
Yeah, like the VMU is really an obscure piece of hardware now, but because of emulation, like Falco's work, you can run this program, this game that you've written anywhere. And the emulator, I feel personally, is on an extremely mature level to the point where something that works on the emulator is going to work on hardware. Because you can emulate, right? So with the BIOS,
Right.
any sort of edge case that might not work in actual emulation, in my situation, has always been fixed if you run it with the BIOS like on hardware
Right, right.
and whatnot. So like
It's
BIOS
pretty fucking
accuracy,
accurate, yeah.
it's a really accurate emulator. It's really good. Like it's cycle accurate. It's really good.
Oh
But
shit, real quick. Sean
yeah,
Carey paid $5. Are there any TED Talks Falco can recommend to us? Fuck, dude, I don't watch TED Talks. Uh so anyway, do you guys like holy shit, you just paid $5 for that question? You can ask me literally any question in the fucking planet and I'll answer it for the rest of this goddamn stream because you paid $5 for that. I'm so sorry, like I can't give a good answer to that one fucking question.
$5 and you don't know it.
God damn it.
damn, dude.
Damn
I owe
it.
this guy a refund.
You found it. You
Fuck.
found the one question.
Okay, by the way, if you don't know where to start, the easiest place is just Google Marcus Comstead VMU. This is one of the original guys who figured out how it worked. You go here, Dreamcast programming, Marcus Comstead, hardware, peripherals, visual memory system, and right here. This is like everything you fucking could ever need. Written in a much more easily digestible form, you know what I mean? This is pretty much where everyone starts with it. Because it's a lot easier than going through this giant document.
It's a great resource. It doesn't have every like special function register, but it has like 99% of what you will use. It's really a great resource.
So what topics were you wanting to know about, like TED Talks? Like maybe I can recommend to like I'm a book guy, you know, like literature or something like that, you know, that or literally answer any other fucking question you could possibly have. I'm your slave for the rest of this fucking stream because I feel like a miserable fucking shit for not being able to answer that question.
Damn.
Whatever you want me to do. I'll fucking strip naked right now if you want and get kicked off
Well,
YouTube just for you.
Don't do that.
For $5.
Dude, no one wants to see
Dude, I
that.
feel terrible, man. I feel terrible.
$5 foot long.
But yeah, carry on.
Okay, so the next demo, if you press A again in the ROM, it'll show a parallax scrolling demo where I've got a static background.
Jesus Christ, dude! Fucking God, that is fucking.
Dude.
Oh my God.
So the parallax background uses a modified version of the previous demo's code, and all this code is available.
I've never
If you wanna
seen a
see, like,
VMU game with this much fucking graphical complexity. Are you fucking kidding me?
dude, like if you wanna see how this works, you can read my code, which is documented, and like modify it and use it in your own stuff. This just go to town. But anyway, this is just another demo of like scrolling backgrounds. And the next demo is kind of a big one. If you press the A button again. So the next demo after the parallax demo.
Sorry, I'm looking up the Diablo Immortal controversy right now so that I can have a fucking so I can have an educated opinion on this. Continue.
Okay. So oh yeah, parallax scrolling, dude.
This will probably not look as good on the stream because it's not an actual frame rate that's being captured, by the way.
Yeah. So this next demo is a grayscale demo. And what you can do is
it looks more flashy to you guys because it's not being captured at the actual frame rate. By the way, it's 30 FPS. This emulator's running at 60, so it looks a little bit more fucking seizure-y to you guys. But yeah.
Yeah. But what you can do is because the pixels on the screen don't turn off immediately. They sort of like fade out. You can excite them by turning them on and off really fast to get grayscale. So what this demo is demonstrating is, I think, 6 colors.
Oh, this is a mobile Diablo. Sorry. Okay, I do know about this. Continue. Oh, sorry. I just want to let you know. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay. So yeah, with this, you can draw like backgrounds with more colors.
Yeah, so think about how fucking ridiculous that is. Like, this is a black and white screen. You're literally, you are exploiting the millisecond, like, microscopic latency between turning a pixel on and off on an LCD on a liquid crystal display, where when it comes on it's gray for like a couple fucking milliseconds, you know. When it turns off it's gray for milliseconds. It's not a completely digital state change, you know. So this is exploiting that physical aspect, which I'm also trying to emulate, but I need to work on the accuracy a little. It's pretty accurate, but
Yeah, like the oh man, the fact that the emulator can emulate grayscale is one of the best parts.
yeah, okay. So that if any of you motherfuckers, if I catch you using another VMU emulator, remember mine can do this shit, and mine is audio. No one else does that.
Hell yeah. Like, audio is another big thing, but that's not part of this demo. And so the last demo, right? The last demo, if you press A one more time, it'll take you to a tile map demo.
Oh my fucking... Oh yeah, dude, this is sweet.
So...
Oh my god.
This
dude,
one
this
is
this is the kind of shit I want to see in our fucking minigame now. God,
dude, we can do this. We can do this, man. Like, this is possible.
That's amazing.
Like, this isn't out of the question. But, so this tile map demo, right?
Oh my
What's essentially happening here is
fucking magic.
The background is being drawn. You have to look at the assembly code to see what's happening, because I've got an array of bytes that determine what tile a background should be, and it's how do I explain this?
He's like, I can't even. This fucking magic. I can't explain.
Dude, this one is the craziest one because I use so much work RAM. Like, there's 2 work RAM banks, right? What essentially happens is,
while you guys are talking about that, continue.
Okay, so there's 2 work RAM banks. The library uses the second bank as a buffer to draw something and then copy it to the screen. But in this demo, I use the first bank to draw the background from tiles, and then I use the second bank to copy that to the screen. This way I can create a custom background on the fly. It's... Man, this is a hard demo to explain without having to like go into the way it works, because like on the surface it's not that impressive. It's like, oh, I'm drawing tiles, no big deal. But the way that it's operating on hardware, like it just uses so much RAM, to all this RAM space. It excites me. It's great. It's great. But this is the sort of thing that you can do in the VMU, right? Like, I feel like there weren't a lot of games that did this sort of thing.
No, they didn't. There weren't.
You could make like a tile-based RPG or whatever if you really wanted to.
And that's what excites me. You know, like what genre of video game requires the least graphical fidelity, yet allows you to make the deepest immersive experience with like the least amount of graphical fidelity, a fucking RPG. That's why I'm like, I can't believe there was never an RPG for this fucking thing. Like, I really feel like, holy shit, man. Like, you see this, like Pokemon style, you make a fucking Pokemon on this thing.
Yeah, yeah. So the full power of the VMU, like, it hasn't been realized yet. People haven't utilized this thing in commercial games to a level that show off all its capabilities. It's capable of a lot. And you can do all this stuff too. All you have to do is join the Discord and like start writing 8-bit assembly.
Sell your soul to us and shit.
Yeah, just write VMU games, guys. Damn. It's good. It's good.
Real quick, someone is talking about books on QT. Like, this is something I actually can help with. I own 2 different QT books. Well, let me fucking focus on my own bitch ass. Okay, so I own 2 of these, and these are fantastic books. This is an introduction to design patterns in C++ with Qt. This is a really good book. Like, it's actually not that Qt centric. It's introducing you to design patterns, but it's also using the Qt framework, because some of the things the Qt framework offers, like signals and slots, actually allows you to create some really cool, like, little more special case design patterns that plain C++ doesn't allow you to do without a lot of fucking work. So this is a really good book. This is probably my favorite Qt one. And then just a more general, this is Qt C++ GUI Qt4. Obviously this is outdated now. The Qt5 book is better, you know. But these are fantastic books. These exist, you know. Do you need them? No, not necessarily, because the documentation and the examples and tutorials are so good, you know. They're bundled with their shit. But I'm a book guy. I prefer owning books because I'm a fucking hoarder, and I learn best from books, and they do a good job of like sequentially like building up complexity. You know what I mean? Yeah, the books are mirrored, sorry. It's C++ GUI programming with Qt. And then it is an introduction to design patterns in C++ with Qt. God damn, it looks fucked up. But yeah. Real quick, before we continue with VMU stuff, so you were asking about that Diablo shit. Let me make sure. I use the standard Qt GUI for the editor. I've never used Qt Quick. Yeah, it's all standard. Let me make sure I understand this Diablo thing. I briefly read it the other day, like when it was like a big fucking deal. So basically, Blizzard. Let me get this straight. They had like this like big press meeting, right, where people were expecting like, oh shit, a new Diablo game, right? Oh, dude, it's 100% cross. Not only does it work on Windows, Mac, Linux, it also works on like Raspberry fucking Pi, iPhone, Android. I would not, dude. I am a 100% cross-platform developer. I will not use a library that doesn't run on 50 fucking things, because that's how I roll. Seems like a waste of fucking. Seems like a waste of time to me personally as a developer to only target one platform. I literally get like that's a Windows machine right there. That's Linux, or that's Mac, Linux, Windows. Like, I'm just surrounded by fucking different machines, different fucking embedded platforms, basically, like, overflowing out of my dick. Like, I like to code for a whole bunch of shit. And my Dreamcast is back there. So, everything I write as a developer basically needs to run on everything, or I'm not satisfied, and I feel like I've wasted my fucking time. But, okay, so Diablo, they held this, like, big press meeting, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And the fans were expecting a new Diablo game from Blizzard, and they like hyped it up or something. And so on stage, they revealed that this Diablo game that people were excited about was just a fucking mobile game, right? I mean, that's what happened, right? And that's like, I mean, like that. I'm not a huge Diablo fan, but that pisses me off, like to begin with. You know what I mean? So. It's one thing to be a company and to like, okay, we're making a fucking like mobile game, like Mario Dash or whatever the fuck Mario game they had for this shit. I actually own it, Mario Runners or whatever the fuck. You know, it's one thing to do that, but like, oh my god, it's also third party. Okay, it's another thing to hype this up to the fans. How can you be that out of touch with your fan base that you actually think that this is not, that, you know, that you can hype this shit up and get everyone's hopes up and then expect them not to be pissed off about it? A dude asked if it was some kind of April Fool's joke, went on to create a YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. Like, that's like the ultimate disrespect to fans. That'd be like if like fucking, if I'm like, oh, we're coming out with like a huge ES fucking announcement or something, and like, or we release Elysian Shadows, like Elysian Shadows 2 is coming out, and it's like, just for iPhone, it's like a little fucking like click to play thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like any content creator should be like, you know, in touch with their fan base enough to know that that's disrespectful. I think that's really fucking stupid of them. And like, these are loyal fucking fans who've always stood by them. I feel like it's the developer's job to, you know, be in touch with the fan base enough. I mean, like, even if they're not, I'm not in touch with fucking Diablo fanbase that much either, and I can tell you that is a really fucking stupid idea. Do I think the AAA game industry's head for a crash? What other scenarios make you think that this is affecting everything? I'm not sure, because I play a lot of, like, you know,
that new FCC law where you get fined if you don't support disabled players.
Wait, I was going to talk about that later, because it fucking pisses me off. Let's make a video about that. Yeah, we're about to talk about that later. First of all, if shit like that keeps happening, which we'll talk about later, maybe we are headed for some serious repercussions. Let's see. Watched some Adventures Game Development. No clue what Falco was talking about. And now I rewatched and was like, yeah, makes sense. Nice, man, nice.
I had no idea until I watched
it. The problem is I don't play games like that so much. I'm not really a PC gamer. So I'm sitting here playing shit like the Nintendo Switch, 3DS, and a lot of PS4. I'm a console gamer, you know, and I feel like we're not as affected by stupid shit like that, you know, like fucking the new God of War came out, fucking amazing. Tomb Raider came out, fucking amazing. They're coming out with The Last of Us 2, you know. I'm not so sure that would be the entire industry, but maybe they are fucking up PC gaming, or maybe this is bigger than I'm really aware, you know. I play a lot of old games. Like, what my gaming repertoire that I play at any given time is like just as much retro as modern. You know, I'll be playing like Sega CD shit too. But yeah, I feel like the Nintendo and like PlayStation front is not as fucked up there. Microsoft, Xbox might be because it's closer to that PC side. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty fucked up. That's extremely disrespectful to fans. Like, are you fucking... Like, the amount of anxiety I have for putting out something that you guys wouldn't like is part of why we're so fucking slow with adventures in game development. Because I know what you guys fucking like. It's disrespectful to you for me to put out something half-assed and label it. Even adventures in game development, it's not a real game, you know what I mean? Because I like to think that we're on the same fucking page, and I just think that's really fucking stupid. Like, they're turning into from a game company that everyone fucking loved, you know, that was like loyal fan base to like just another fucking EA. That's the way it seems to me, which is just stupid. What the fuck are we looking at, Jesse? Oh, your fucking graphics craziness.
I'm working on my SDK, and I'm just making some notes for me to wrap my head around.
Krasno, you want to show like a screenshot of like the battle engine that we were talking about, and maybe talk a little bit about the architecture?
Yeah. So
actually, I want to. Okay, cool. I want to wrap up the VMU stuff because now there's like a lot of cool shit we want to show you on the actual Elysian Shadows front. So this is part of the actual Elysian Shadows experience. This is our official game that will be, you know, our first party game in it, but we'll also have like, hopefully, based on you guys, a shit ton of third party submissions. Oh, one more thing. Dude, I'm so sorry if the YouTube stream keeps dying. It's this... You guys maybe try going here. The streaming service we're using, go right here. We're streaming to this site right here, right? And then it's basically being demultiplexed out into MySpace, or fucking MySpace, into Facebook, YouTube, and not fucking MySpace. I'm sorry, we're not that hipster. Go right here, mobcrush.com/gyrovorbis. I have a feeling that I'm not dropping frames here, right? So we're going to this bitch is going out. We're not losing the connection to this bitch. So if you were to watch the stream there, not only would you see everyone's comments from everything, but you would also probably not be experiencing that bullshit. I'm so sorry. For now, though, that's what we're doing until we get a better streaming service, because we have a very fuckload of different people on different streaming platforms. I mean, you can see right here, this is Twitch, this is YouTube, you know, like, I've always tried to be inclusive of everyone, except Tumblr, because we fucking hate Tumblr. So, I mean, really, we have a very varied, like, fan base in terms of social media, and this is us trying to, like, do everything for everyone. So yeah, do that. I have one more. Oh yeah, okay, so someone asked me, I think it was Jim, about the VMU minigame. So in addition to getting VMU minigame, you are also going to be getting your own NPC in basically kind of like a bar/arcade, and you can script whatever you want. He was asking about breaking the fourth wall in the fucking in the game. So okay, what you can do is in game, from Julian's perspective in the party, they are in an arcade, right? You can actually be breaking the fourth wall of your own game, like, hey, I developed this game over there you're about to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's perfectly contiguous with the storyline. They are in a fucking arcade. You can be a game developer in-game. But don't go in there and be like, hey, Julian, you're in a fucking multi-platform 2D/3D RPG right now. You know what I mean? You can break your fourth wall. Don't break our fourth wall, okay?
Just the fourth wall thing, it makes me think of something else.
It's like some multi-layered shit. Do I need to restart the stream, guys? People are bitching a bunch. Okay, well, I guess let me know if you think I need to restart the stream. With that, I'll take it back to you, Krasna. I gotta grab a drink real quick. I'm like really parched from all this fucking monologuing. About the